Hey, what's up? My name is Crystal Hudson, but many may know me as under my pen name, Janae Marie. Today, I'm going to be discussing three of my favorite books that I wrote and published, and also I'm going to be discussing what really got me inspired to write these books in the first place. So, I'm going to start off with me when I was younger. So, when I was younger, I was the only child for until I was about 17. So I spent a lot of time in the house alone. So I was bored a lot. So I read a lot of books like Goosebumps, Babysitters Club books, and I would also go to this. I would also get notebooks and just fill them up with poems. So when I was 13, I started writing poetry. And as I got older, at around 16, I started writing short stories. So I would have notebooks stacked up with just different stories that I would write. And I always liked reading books. You know, by the time I believe I hit the fourth grade, I had about 50 to 100 books. I know that might sound kind of nerdy to some people, but I've always loved reading books, because I feel like reading can take you to another place, it just puts you in a different mindset. So that's why I've always enjoyed reading books. And, as I got older, I would spend a lot of time in the library also, and I would read a lot of books from like different authors, Walter Mosley, and just many different authors. And when at the library, I was like, wow, I would love to see, my name on a book cover, So, I don't know, by the time I got to college, my zest, I should say, for writing kind of grew. So I started writing short stories. And when I got to college at Wayne State, and I took a intro to film class, and we had to do an alternate ending for the Spike Lee film Bamboozled. And my college professor said he loved it, and he said that he could actually see this as being an alternate ending for that film. So I figured if he loved it, then I'm like, well, obviously, I guess I'm pretty good at this. So yeah, I just started writing short stories, and I published my first book at age 25, and that was called Flirting with Temptations. So by the time I hit 27, I wrote my second book, which is called Daddy's Home. And that book, so the inspiration behind that book is actually kind of crazy. I was waiting for a bus, and I heard a young lady, she said that she had to sell her body to pay her rent. And I thought, like, I was completely blown away by that, because I think that's something young women shouldn't be doing. So I ended up writing Daddy's Home, which is about a young lady who was molested by her father and abandoned by her mother. So she ends up having to learn. She ends up having to grow up pretty quickly on her own, and she goes through a pretty traumatic upbringing. So yeah, so a lot of things come to me. Stuff that come to me is like stuff that I'm overheard by other people, So it's another reason, kind of like, why I write urban fiction books, because I want people like me to be able to see themselves in the books that I write. Yeah, and a lot of my books do take place in the city of Detroit, which is where I was born. And mine brings me to my next book, which is called Double Take. Double Take is about two twin brothers who grow up. The two twin brothers grow up in the same household, but they take two completely different paths in life. One twin brother is on a fast track. He's going to school for politics. He's going to be a politician. He walks the straight and narrow. Meanwhile, his brother is addicted to fast money, cars, and he doesn't want to work for anything. he doesn't want to work for anything. He's like, I want things given to me now, and that's a big problem. So he feels like, well, the only way, he doesn't want to work a job because he wants to get immediate gratification, and that ends up landing him in jail. So, but the twist is, one of the brothers gets sent to prison for a crime that they didn't commit. So yeah, you can kind of see like how that goes, because it's like they're twin brothers, and you know, maybe one is like plotted against the other. So yeah, that's like one of my favorite books that I took time to write. It didn't take me long to write this one. I think it took me about 6 months. Yeah. So my next and my very last one that I wrote is called Sleeping with the Enemy. This one is also one of my favorites. It took me at least 4 years to write this one, to complete this one. I had a bad case of writer's block for a very long time, but I am really happy with how this turned out. It's actually, I think a lot of readers enjoy this one. So for this one, I believe like I had to really push myself with this one, and because this one is about a young man that's born with an incurable disease that he likes to go and spread it to both men and women, and yeah, so I mean, because he's born with this incurable disease, he has no sympathy for others because he's kind of mad about it, so he wants to kind of ruin the lives of other people. So, you know, he's kind of had like self-pity and self like whatever. But yeah, so the twist of this is he doesn't tell anyone that he has this incurable disease. So he's purposely infecting other people with this disease, you know. And you know, he's purposely infecting other people with this disease, and you know, once people find out, they kind of want to, you know, kill him. So yeah, so at the end, I don't want to give too much away, but at the end, everyone's trying to figure out, you know, how it happened. So yeah, these are 3 of my most favorite books that I've written thus far, and I'm currently working on my next book, which is going to be called Leilani's Secret, which is about a young lady who is getting abused by her boyfriend. So that should be out by next year, and I would just like to say, I guess what really, you know, really inspires me to keep writing these books is just because while I'm writing these books, it really helps me to escape from my own reality, you know, and I'm like creating an alternate universe. I love being able to put other people in drama. I love to see how things turn out, and because I get to create, you know, this narrative, because not everything is black and white in the real world. So that's why I don't always like to write happy endings, because that's not realistic. In this world, everything's not black and white. You know, you won't always get a happy ending. You won't always get what you want, because that's just how the real world is. And I want my readers to be able to see themselves in my books, or see a family member or someone close to them, or just like, oh dang, I know someone that's going through that same situation. So yeah, and that's pretty much what I've written thus far, and I would like to in the future, I do plan on writing scripts and like turning my books into scripts. That's my plan for the future, and to also write plenty of more books. And I would also like to write thrillers. I want to start writing thriller books. Let's see, yeah, I would like to write mysteries too. I want to just, you know, just write, just keep myself very open, And hopefully I'm hoping to find an agent in the future. And that's about it.